Good morning, all of you. Good morning. Am I audible? ಎಲ್ರಿಗೂ ಕೇಳಿಸ್ತಿದ್ಯಾ?
Very good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Very good morning, sir.
ಎಲ್ರಿಗೂ ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನ್
Yes, sir.
ಶೇರ್ ಮಾಡಿರೋದು ನೀಟಾಗಿ ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಿದ್ಯಾ ಎಲ್ರಿಗೂ?
Yes, sir.
ಇನ್ನು ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನ್ ಬಂದಿಲ್ಲ.
ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಿದ್ಯಾ ನೋಡಿ ಚೆಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು.
Sir.
ನೋಡಿ ಈಗ ನೋಡಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕೇಳಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ. ಸೊ ನಾನು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೈನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಹೋಗ್ತೀನಿ, ನಿಧಾನಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗ್ತೀನಿ, ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ತೊಂದರೆ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಐ ಆಮ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೈನ್ ದ ಎಂಟೈರ್ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಬೋತ್ ಇನ್ ಕನ್ನಡ ಅಂಡ್ ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್. ಸೊ ಏನಾದ್ರೂ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಡೌಟ್ಸ್ ಬಂದಾಗ, ಇನ್ ಕೇಸ್ ನೀವು ಯಾರಾದ್ರೂ ನನ್ನ ಜೊತೆ ಇಂಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಯು ಜಸ್ಟ್ ರೈಸ್ ಯುವರ್ ಹ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಸೊ ಯಾರಿಗಾದ್ರೂ ಒಬ್ಬೊಬ್ಬರಿಗೆ ನಾನು ಚಾನ್ಸ್ ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಹೋಗ್ತೀನಿ. ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಇಂಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟ್ ವಿತ್ ಮೀ. ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟುಡ್? ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಒಟ್ಟೊಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ಕೈ ಎತ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಸೊ ಯಾರಿಗೂ ಅಷ್ಟೊಂದು ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ನಾನು ಮಾತಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಅವಕಾಶ ಕೊಡೋದಕ್ಕಾಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ ಇಲ್ಲಿ, ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಟೈಮ್ ಲಿಮಿಟ್ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ವಿ ವಿಲ್ ಸೊ ರಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ಟ್ ಅವರ್ ಸೆಲ್ಫ್. ಕೇಳಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ ನೀಟಾಗಿ, ಸೊ ನಿಧಾನಕ್ಕೆ ಕೇಳಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಏನಾದ್ರು ಡೌಟ್ಸ್ ಬಂದಾಗ ಅಥವಾ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಏನಾದ್ರು ಹೇಳಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಅನಿಸಿದಾಗ, ನೀವು ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂದಾಗ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ರೈಸ್ ಯುವರ್ ಹ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಇಂಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟ್ ವಿತ್ ಮೀ. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ ಎಲ್ರಿಗೂ? ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟುಡ್ ಆಲ್ ಆಫ್ ಯು? Shall we start? Shall we all begin?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right. So now, so yesterday I was talking about in the previous class relations. So relations ಗೆ ಸಂಬಂಧಪಟ್ಟ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ಸ್, ಡೊಮೈನ್ ಆಫ್ ಎ ರಿಲೇಷನ್, ಕೋಡೊಮೈನ್ ಆಫ್ ಎ ರಿಲೇಷನ್, ಡೊಮೈನ್ ಆಫ್ ಎ ರಿಲೇಷನ್, ರೇಂಜ್ ಆಫ್ ಎ ರಿಲೇಷನ್, ಇನ್ವರ್ಸ್ ರಿಲೇಷನ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ನಿಮಗೆ ಡೆಫಿನೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಹೇಳಿದ್ವಿ. ಸೊ ಅಂಡ್ ನಂಬರ್ ಆಫ್ ರಿಲೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಡಿಫೈನ್ಡ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಒನ್ ಸೆಟ್ ಟು ಅನದರ್ ಸೆಟ್, ಶಾರ್ಟ್ ಕಟ್ ರಿಸಲ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡಿದೀವಿ. ಸೊ ಈಗ ಉಳಿದಿರೋ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆಗಳನ್ನ ರಿಲೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸಾಲ್ವ್ ಮಾಡೋಣ. ನಂತರ ನಾವೇನ್ ಮಾಡೋಣ, ವಿ ವಿಲ್ ಗೋ ಟು ಯುವರ್ ಫಂಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಫಸ್ಟ್ PUC ಫಂಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ರಿಲೇಷನ್ಸ್ ನೀವೇನು ಓದ್ತೀರಾ ದಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂಡ್ ಇನ್ ಯುವರ್ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ PUC. ಸೊ ಅದ್ರ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಟೈಪ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ರಿಲೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಆಡ್ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ಈ ಬೇಸಿಕ್ ಫಂಡಮೆಂಟಲ್ಸ್ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಸರಿಯಾಗಿ ಅರ್ಥ ಆದ್ರೆ ಸೊ ರಿಲೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಫಂಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಬಿ ಈಸಿಲಿ ಸಾಲ್ವ್ಡ್. ಅಂಡ್ ಸಾಲ್ವಿಂಗ್ ದೀಸ್ ಕ್ವೆಶನ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ ಯುವರ್ ಸೊ CET is quite simple. ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಐಡಿಯಾ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ಬೇಕು ನೀವು, ರೈಟ್? ಸೊ ಈಗ we will go to 11th question. ಸೊ 11th question ಏನಪ್ಪ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, you can look at this. R is a relation on a set A whose elements are 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 standing for is a multiple of 3 ಅಂತ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ is a multiple of 3 ಅಂತ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, so is a multiple of 3 ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ I can write x is a multiple of 3 ಅಂತ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ತೀನಿ ನಾನು ಇಲ್ಲಿ, ರೈಟ್? x is a multiple of 3. Understood? So now ರೋಜಾ ಕುಮಾರಿ ಯಾರೋ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಹ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ರೈಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದೀರಾ? ಎನಿ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್? ರೋಜಾ, ಡು ಯು ವಾಂಟ್ ಟು ರೋಜಾ ಕಾಂಬ್ಳೆ, ಎನಿ ಡೌಟ್ಸ್? ರೈಟ್. ಸೊ ನಾವು x is a multiple of 3. ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನ್ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ನೋಡಿ ನಿಮಗೆ ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್. ಯು ಆರ್ ಸಪೋಸ್ ಟು ಡಿಫೈನ್ a relation R. So it is in such a way that R contains all the ordered pairs for so here, so R contains the ordered pairs formed by x and y such that x is a multiple. So x is a multiple of y ಅಂತ ಇದೆ. So ಹೀಗಿದೆ. Now you can see you can take the elements of A. So x ನ 1 ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ here, so I can write x is a multiple of y ಅಂದ್ರೆ x is equal to 3y ಅಂತ ಬರ್ಕೋಣ ಇಲ್ಲಿ. So if I write x is equal to 3y, so then so 3 comma 1, x is multiple of 3 ಇದೆ. So you give y is equal to 1, y ಗೆ 1 ಹಾಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. So if you put y is equal to 1, the value of x is going to be 3. So that means you are going to get 3 comma 1 should be there in R. 3 comma 1 ಯಾವ್ಯಾವ್ದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೆ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. So it is there in A, B, C, D ಎಲ್ಲಾದ್ರಲ್ಲೂ ಇದೆ. You can't eliminate the option. Suppose if you put y is equal to 2. That should be from set A. So if y is 2, you are going to get x is equal to 6 ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ನಿಮಗೆ. So that means 6, 2 belongs to R. 6, 2 ಯಾವ್ದ್ರಲ್ಲಿದೆ? Option A and option B ಇಲ್ಲಿದೆ. So option C and option D, they are not going to be the choice. Then you put y is equal to 3. Y ಗೆ 3 substitute ಮಾಡಿ. So if you put y is equal to 3, x ಏನಪ್ಪ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ? X is equal to 3 into 3, you are going to get 9. So ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ? 9, 3 also belongs to relation. 9 and 3, they are related to each other. So 9, 3 ಎರಡರಲ್ಲೂ ಇದೆ, right? So we'll go for y is equal to 4 ನೋಡ್ಕೋಣ. So if y is 4, x is equal to 12 ಇದೆ. So this 12 is not there in the given set. So therefore that element does not belongs to, they are not related to each other. Therefore the elements which belongs to the relation is nothing but 3, 1, 6, 2 and 9, 3. So ಯಾವುದು ನಿಮಗೆ ಸರಿ ಉತ್ತರ ಆಗಬೇಕು? ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು ಈಗ, right? So correct answer for this question, so A is not a choice. Option for this question, it is going to be option B is the right solution. Understood? So now we'll go to question number 12. 12ನೇ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಏನಿದೆ ನೋಡಿ. The relation R defined on set of natural numbers. So you should have the clear idea on which set you are defining the relation. So relation defined on n. So n ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಯಾವುದು? So this is set of natural numbers ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು relation ನ define ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ. So how is it defined? R is defined as it contains the ordered pairs formed by the elements of A and B such that A is equal to 2 times B. ನೀವೇನ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು? ಎರಡು ನ್ಯಾಚುರಲ್ ನಂಬರ್ ತಗೊಳ್ಬೇಕು. So if first natural number is 2 times the second natural number, then the ordered pair formed by them belongs to the relation ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ. So now if that is the case, ನಿಮಗೆ ಇನ್ವರ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ರಿಲೇಷನ್ ಆರ್ ಇನ್ವರ್ಸ್ ಬೇಕು ನಿಮಗೆ. ಹೌ ಟು ಫೈಂಡ್ ಔಟ್ ಆರ್ ಇನ್ವರ್ಸ್? ಸೊ ಆರ್ ಇನ್ವರ್ಸ್ ಯಾವಾಗ ನಿಮಗೆ ಫೈಂಡ್ ಔಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಂತ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಆರ್ ಫೈಂಡ್ ಔಟ್ ಮಾಡಿರ್ಬೇಕು ನೀವು ಫಸ್ಟ್. ಆರ್ ಗೊತ್ತಿದ್ರೆ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಈಸಿಲಿ ಫೈಂಡ್ ಔಟ್ ಆರ್ ಇನ್ವರ್ಸ್. ನಾವು ಆರ್ ಹೇಗೆ ಬರೆಯೋದು ಈಗ ನೋಡಿ ಈಗ. ಸೊ ಐ ವಿಲ್ ಗೋ ಆನ್ ರಿಪ್ಲೇಸಿಂಗ್ ದ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಆಫ್ ಬಿ. ಎ ಇಸ್ ಈಕ್ವಲ್ ಟು 2b ಇದೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ. ಸೊ ಐ ವಿಲ್ ಪುಟ್ ಬಿ ಇಸ್ ಈಕ್ವಲ್ ಟು 1 ಹಾಕೋಣ. ಸೊ ಇಫ್ ಬಿ ಇಸ್ 1, obviously you get a as 2 ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ 2, 1 belongs to the relation. I am not talking about R inverse. R inverse ಆಮೇಲೆ ನೋಡೋಣ. So suppose if B is equal to 2, B ಗೆ ಏನಾದರೂ 2 ಹಾಕೊಂಡಾಗ ನಿಮಗೆ A ಏನ್ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ? 2 into 2, it becomes 4. So you get 4, 2 belongs to R. First element ಎಲ್ಲ second element ಗೆ ಡಬಲ್ ಇರಬೇಕು. So R ಏನ್ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ? Obviously you can observe R is a set whose elements are 2, 1, 4, 2, and next ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ? Suppose if A, B is 3, so it becomes 6, 3. It keeps going like this because you are defining a relation on infinite set. ಈಗ ನಿಮಗೆ ಇನ್ವರ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ರಿಲೇಷನ್ ಬೇಕು. ಇನ್ವರ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಆರ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು? ಯು ಆರ್ ಸಪೋಸ್ ಟು ಸಿಂಪ್ಲಿ ಇಂಟರ್ಚೇಂಜ್ ದ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಎಲಿಮೆಂಟ್. ರಿಲೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಎಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಇಂಟರ್ಚೇಂಜ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಬಿಡಿ. So if you interchange the first and second element, you are going to get 1, 2, then you get 2, 4, then you get 3, 6. It keeps going like this, right? So now what is going to be the option for this one? Option for this question is going to be option B is going to be the correct answer, right? So now we'll go to question number 13. 13ನೇ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಏನಿದೆ ನೋಡಿ. Inverse of a relation or defined from A to B is R inverse from B to A defined by. So and so here R is defined from A to B. It is not is, and R inverse defined from B to A. What is the definition of R inverse ಅಂತ ಕೇಳಿದಾನೆ. R inverse ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ನಿಮಗೆ. Suppose look at this. R is defined as a set containing A, B such that A is related to B and A belongs to set A, B belongs to set B. This is the definition of a relation. ಈಗ R inverse ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ? R inverse ಅಲ್ಲಿ just we are going to interchange the first and the second element. So it is going to contain B, A. So B, A ಇರುತ್ತೆ. And again, so A is related to B ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ. So again, B should be there in B itself and A should be there in A itself. So A belongs to set A and B belongs to the set B itself. So nodi the definition of inverse of a relation. So which is going to be the answer for this one? Option B is going to be the correct answer for this. R inverse will always contain the elements of the form B comma A. If A comma B is there in R, ಅದನ್ನ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬರೆದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ A is related to B ಅಂತ. If A is related to B, inverse relation B is related to A. So option B is going to be the correct answer for your question. ನೋಡಿ ಈಗ 14ನೇ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಏನಿದೆ ನೋಡಿ. R is a relation defined on N as A comma B such that A square plus B square less than 16 ಅಂತ ಇದೆ. So A square plus B square less than 16. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನೀವು ಎರಡು ನ್ಯಾಚುರಲ್ ನಂಬರ್ಸ್ ತಗೊಳ್ಬೇಕು ಎ ಬಿ. Compute the expression A square plus B square less than 16. If sum of their squares is less than 16, ordered pair formed by them belongs to the relation. Right? ನಾನೇನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ, ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ಸರಿ ಉತ್ತರನ ಇಲ್ವಾ ಚೆಕ್ ಮಾಡೋಣ. ನೋಡಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಐ ಆಮ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಟೇಕ್ 1,4. A is equal to 1, B is equal to 4 ತಗೊಂಡಾಗ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ you are going to get 17. It is not less than 16. So therefore option A is not going to be the right choice for this. ಹಾಗೆ ನೋಡಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ 2,4 ತಗೋಣ ಇಲ್ಲಿ. So suppose if you check B, A as 2 and B is equal to 4 ತಗೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಏನ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ? So 2 square, it is nothing but 4 plus 4 square 16. It is not going to be less than 16. Right? So option B ನಿಮಗೆ ಸರಿ ಉತ್ತರ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. 4 ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಎನಿ ನಂಬರ್ ಆಡ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಗ್ರೇಟರ್ ದೆನ್ 16 ಇರುತ್ತೆ. 4 ಕಾಂಬಿನೇಷನ್ ಇರೋದು ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಆಗೋದೇ ಇಲ್ಲ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ? ಸೊ ಈಗ ಇದು ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಣ. ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ಡಿ ನೋಡೋಣ. ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ಡಿ ಐ ಆಮ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಚೆಕ್ 3,3 ಹಿಯರ್. A is equal to 3 and B is equal to 3 ಹಾಕೋಣ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ. So A square 9, B square is also 9, 18 ಆಯ್ತು. This is also not less than 16. So ಇದು ನಿಮಗೆ ಸರಿ ಉತ್ತರ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. So therefore what is going to be the right choice? Option C ಸರಿ ಉತ್ತರ ಇರಬಹುದು. ನೋಡೋಣ. So C ಸರಿ ಉತ್ತರ ಆಗುತ್ತಾ ನೋಡಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ. So ಇಲ್ಲಿ any ordered pair, if you substitute any value for A and B in the ordered pair given here, suppose if you take 3,2, A is 3 ಅಂದ್ರೆ 9 plus 4 it is less than 16. ಸರಿ ಉತ್ತರ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಹಾಗೆ so you can go for 2,3. A is 2 square 4 plus 9 13. So if you take 3,1, 9 plus 1 10, it is always less than 10. So obviously C will satisfy your result. So option C is going to be the correct answer for this. ನೋಡಿ ಹೀಗೆ ಈ ತರ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆಗಳನ್ನ ಉತ್ತರ ನೀವು ಸಾಲ್ವ್ ಮಾಡದೇ ಇರೋನೆ ಗೆಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಬರೀಬಹುದು. ಸೊ ಬಟ್ ಕೇರ್ಫುಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಅಬ್ಸರ್ವ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಂದು ಎಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಸ್ಯಾಟಿಸ್ಫೈ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇರೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ಆ ತರದನ್ನ ಐಡೆಂಟಿಫೈ ಮಾಡಿ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಎಲಿಮಿನೇಟ್ ದ ಚಾಯ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ಆ ಚಾಯ್ಸಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಎಲಿಮಿನೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಹೋದಾಗ ಉಳಿದಿರೋ ಉತ್ತರಗಳು ಸರಿ ಉತ್ತರಗಳು ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ. Now we'll move on to question number 15. ನೋಡಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ question number 15 ಏನಿದೆ? A is set A as n elements and the number of relations on A ಅಂತ. Suppose if you write, so ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ನೋಟ್ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ಬರ್ದಿದ್ದೀನಿ ನಾನು ಸಿನಾಪ್ಸಿಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ. So if number of elements in A is m and number of elements in B is n, then number of relations, so total number of relations from A to B, so from A to B is 2 to the power number of elements in A into number of elements in B ಅಂತ ಜ್ಞಾಪಕ ಇಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕು ನೀವು. ಶಾರ್ಟ್ ಕಟ್ ಮೆಥಡ್ ಇದು. ಸೊ ಜ್ಞಾಪಕ ಇಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ ನೀವು ಫಾರ್ಮುಲಾ ಇದನ್ನ. ಈಗ now we'll go to question. So it is the relation R defined on a set A into itself. A to A ne define ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ನಾವು. We don't have two sets. What are the number of elements in A? A ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎಷ್ಟು ಎಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಅಪ್ಪ ಇದೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ? So number of elements in A is n. ಇಲ್ಲಿ number of elements in A is n. Therefore the number of relations, so total number of relations I am going to write. So total number of relations defined from A to A. So defined on A ಅಂತ ಬರೆದ್ಬಿಡ್ತೀನಿ. On A meaning it is defined from set A to A ಅಂತ. ಈಗ ನೀವು ಉತ್ತರ ಬರೀಬಹುದು. It is 2 to the power n of A into n of A ಅಂತಾನೆ ಬರ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕು. Because you are defining a relation from A to A. That's all, right? So this is nothing but 2 to the power A number of elements in A is n, and this is again n. So you are going to get 2 to the power n square. Sari uttara nimge option D ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. Right? So I think ಎಲ್ರಿಗೂ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗಿದೆ ಅನ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ. Any doubts? Anybody if you have? So anybody if you want to tell me anything, you can raise your hand in the so that I can identify and give you a chance to interact. Right? So ಈಗ 16ನೇ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಏನಿದೆ ನೋಡಿ. 16th question ಏನಿದೆ? Set A is A, B, C. B is a set whose elements are 1, 2, 3. Then a relation R from A to B is defined by R is equal to A, 1. ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ A is related to 1, right? So A, 1. A related to 1, B is related to 2, and C is related to 3. This is the definition of R. Then what is R inverse? Inverse of R ಏನಪ್ಪ ಅಂತ question ಕೇಳಿದಾನೆ. So R inverse ಏನಿದೆ? Just reverse the elements, right? First element, second element interchange ಮಾಡಿ. So if R relates A to 1, R inverse should relate 1 to A. If R relates B to 2, R inverse should relate 2 to B. If R relates C to 3, R inverse should relate 3 to C. So what is going to be the answer for this one? So option 1, A, 2, B, 3, C, which is there in B. So B is going to be the correct answer for this question, right? So now, 17ನೇ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ನೋಡಿ ಏನಿದೆ? Number of elements in A is 3. Number of elements in B is 2. Total number of relations from A to B. So ಈಗ ನೀವು immediate answer ಬರಿಬಹುದು. Total number of relations. Total number of relations from set A into set B. Set A into set B. So ಏನು ಫಾರ್ಮುಲಾ ಇದೆ ನಿಮಗೆ? ಇದು 2 to the power number of elements in A multiplied by number of elements in B. So now this is 2 to the power number of elements in A is 3, number of elements in B is 2. So it gives you 2 to the power 6. 2 to the power 6 ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನಾಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ? It's going to be 64. So ಸರಿ ಉತ್ತರ ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ಸಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. So ಈ ತರ simple ಇರುತ್ತೆ questions. You should be able to identify the relations and then try to answer the questions accordingly. Now 18th ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ನೋಡಿ. So Shubha, any doubts you want to answer? Shubha? Yeah, tell me, Shubha.
Sir, 16th one question ತೋರಿಸಿ ಸರ್ ಅಂತ.
16th question. Yes. Tell me.
ಸರ್ ಅದು ಇನ್ನೊಂದ್ಸಲ ರಿಪೀಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಸರ್.
16th question ಏನಪ್ಪಾ?
Yes sir.
Yeah, 16th question ಏನಿದೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ? Relation R from A to B ಕೊಟ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ? What is the relation from R to B? R from A to B, A, 1, B, 2 and C, 3, correct? So R relates A to 1, B to 2 and C to 3. Understood? So if R relates A to 1, B to 2 and C to 3, then so you can observe. So R relates A to 1, B to 2 and C to 3. Then R inverse should relate reverse ಮಾಡಬೇಕು relation ಅನ್ನ. So it should relate 1 to A, 2 to B and C to 3. ಇದರಲ್ಲಿರೋ ಎಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ನೆಲ್ಲ ನೀವು ಇಂಟರ್ಚೇಂಜ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಎಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಅನ್ನ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಎಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ, ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಎಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಅನ್ನ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಎಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ. ಸೊ if R relates A to 1, R inverse should relate 1 to A. So if it relates B to 2, inverse should relate 2 to B. If R relates C to 3, R inverse should relate 3 to C. Understood? Just reverse the elements. That's it. Right? Any doubts? ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗಿದೆಯಾ? So just if you understood, you lower down your hand. Shubha. We'll go to question number 18. 18ನೇ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ನೋಡಿ ಏನಿದೆ? R is equal to 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 is a relation from A to B. Then the number of relations defined from X to Y, where X is domain of R and Y is range of R. ನೋಡಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ so question ಏನಪ್ಪಾ ಇದೆ? R is a relation from A to B. So R relation ಕೊಟ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ. So relation is a set whose elements are 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, 7. This is the relation that is given. Clear? So now you are supposed to find the number of relations defined from A to B, total number of relations defined from A to B. total number of relations defined from A to B you can find out provided you know the elements of A and number of elements of B. So ಈಗ elements of A set A ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ನಿಮಗೆ. How to find set A? Set A ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ it is a set which contains all the first elements. ನೋಡಿ ಎಲ್ಲ first elements ಏನಿದೆ ordered pairs ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅದನ್ನ ತಗೊಳ್ಳಿ. So that is going to give you set X. ಏನಿದೆ set X 1 2 4 6 right. So first elements ಎಲ್ಲ ಎಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲಿದೆ ordered pairs ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅದನ್ನ ತಗೊಂಡು ಒಂದು set ಮಾಡಿ. That is going to give you the first set domain right. Then so you take all the second elements. It is 1 3 5 7 right. This is going to give you the range. So this is the domain and y is going to be the range. So now ಈಗ ಎರಡು ಸೆಟ್ ಸಿಕ್ಕಿದೆ ನಿಮಗೆ x y. So you can see the number of elements in x and number of elements in y. So number of elements in x ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಎಷ್ಟು ಎಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ ಕೌಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ. So you have 4 elements and the number of elements in y it is again 4 elements. Now total relations from A to B. So total number of relations from set A into set B. Set A into set B. So ಈಗ ನೀವೇ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು 2 to the power n of x into n of y ಅಂತ number of elements in x multiplied by number of elements in y. So it is 2 to the power 4 into 4. So it becomes 2 to the power 16. Option C is going to be the correct answer for this. Understood? ಎಲ್ರಿಗೂ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗಿದೆಯಾ? Right. So now we'll go for the next one. ನೋಡಿ ಈಗ 19ನೇ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಏನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದೆ? R is a set whose elements are R is a set whose elements are of the form x comma y such that xy belongs to n. X and y natural numbers ಇದೆ and it is in such a way that x plus 2y is equal to 10. Then the number of elements in R inverse is. To find the number of elements in R inverse ನೀವು find out ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ first ನೀವು R find out ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. So R find out ಮಾಡೋದು ಹೇಗಪ್ಪ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ you should choose two natural numbers in such a way that so those two natural numbers x and y should satisfy the equation x plus 2y is equal to 10. So ಇದನ್ನ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಣ? I can write this as 2y is equal to 10 minus x ಅಂತ ಬರ್ಕೊಳ್ಬಹುದು. So y is equal to you get 10 minus x divided by 2 ಅಂತ ಬರೀಬಹುದು. ನೋಡಿ ಈಗ x ಗೆ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಸ್ ಹಾಕ್ತಾ ಹೋಗಿ ನ್ಯಾಚುರಲ್ ನಂಬರ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಸ್ ಹಾಕ್ತಾ ಹೋಗಿ ಯು ಗೆಟ್ ನ್ಯಾಚುರಲ್ ನಂಬರ್ y ಯಾವ್ದು ಬರುತ್ತೋ ಅದು ಎರಡರದು ಆರ್ಡರ್ಡ್ ಪೇರ್ ನಿಮಗೆ ರಿಲೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಇಫ್ ಯು ಪುಟ್ x is equal to 1 10 minus 1 it becomes 9 divided by 2 ನ್ಯಾಚುರಲ್ ನಂಬರ್ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. So therefore 1 is not related to any other element right. Suppose if you put x is equal to 2 x 2 ಹಾಕೊಂಡಾಗ y ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ 10 minus 2 it is 8 by 2 4 ಆಯ್ತು. 4 natural number yes. So obviously you get 2 comma 4 belongs to that. ಹಾಗೇನೆ ನೋಡಿ so I have substituted x is equal to 2 you get y is equal to 4. If you put x is equal to 3 ನೋಡಿ ಇಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲ even numbers ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಡಿವೈಡ್ ಬೈ 2 ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಈವನ್ ನಂಬರ್ ಹಾಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕು, ಆಡ್ ನಂಬರ್ ಹಾಕಬಾರ್ದು. ನಿಮಗೆ ಆಡ್ ನಂಬರ್ ಹಾಕಿದ್ರೆ ಡಿಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಈವನ್ ನಂಬರ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಆಡ್ ನಂಬರ್ ಯು ಗೆಟ್ ಎ ಆಡ್ ನಂಬರ್, ಸೊ ಯು ಡೋಂಟ್ ಗೆಟ್ ಎ ನ್ಯಾಚುರಲ್ ನಂಬರ್ ದೇರ್. therefore that is the hint you need to remember. So x ಗೆ even numbers ಹಾಕ್ತಾ ಹೋಗಿ. So I will put x is equal to 4. If you put x is equal to 4, 10 minus 4 6 ಆಯ್ತು. 6 divided by 2 3. So it is again a natural number, so that you get 4 comma 3. ನೋಡಿ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ x ಗೆ 4 ಹಾಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ y ಗೆ 3 ಹಾಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ 4 plus 6 10, it is going to satisfy that. So now I will substitute x is equal to 6. If you put x is equal to 6, 10 minus 6 it becomes 4 divided by 2. 4 by 2 andre enagutte, it is going to give you 2. So therefore you will get another number, another ordered pair, it is going to be 6 comma 2. Suppose if you put x is equal to 8 hakondre enagutte, 10 minus 8, y is 10 minus 8, it is 2 divided by 2, y becomes 1. Nodi smallest natural number barta ide nimge. So 8 comma 1 bantu, correct? Suppose if you give still more values for x, x is equal to 10 hakondre, y becomes 10 minus 10 0, it is not a natural number, so you will get only this one. Now You can observe number of elements in R. Number of elements in R is 4. ಸೊ ಆರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎಷ್ಟು ಎಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೋ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಆರ್ ಇನ್ವರ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲೂ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಎಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ನೋ ನೀಡ್ ಟು ರೈಟ್ ದ ಇನ್ವರ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ಇನ್ವರ್ಸ್ ಬರೆದ್ರೆ ನೀವು ರಿವರ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ ಎಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ 4,2, 3,4, 6,2 and 1,8. That's all. You are not going to get any new entries there. So therefore, so which shows that number of elements in R inverse, it is also equal to 4. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ? Number of elements in R inverse is also equal to 4. So ಸರಿ ಉತ್ತರ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ? Option D is going to be the correct answer, right? So 20ನೇ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಏನಿದೆ ನೋಡಿ. A is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. B is a set whose elements are 2, 3, 4, 5. And R is a set whose elements are of the form x comma y such that x belongs to A and y belongs to B and y is equal to 2x plus 1. Then what is R inverse, right? So Varalakshmi, any doubts? Varalakshmi, any doubts? Varalakshmi, ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ? ಏನೋ ಡೌಟ್ಸ್ ಇದೆಯಾ?
Sir, 18 question.
Tell me, what is the doubt? ನೋಡಮ್ಮ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವೇನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕು? ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಸೆಟ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಸೆಟ್ ವೈ ಫೈಂಡ್ ಔಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಸೆಟ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ ಹೇಗ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಎಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಯಾವ್ದಾವ್ದು ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಆರ್ಡರ್ಡ್ ಪೇರ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ ದ ರಿಲೇಷನ್, ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಎಕ್ಸ್ ಗೆ ಸೇರಿದ್ದು ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಸೆಟ್ಗೆ. ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 4, 6. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ? ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತೇನ್ರಿ? Can you? Then suppose if you go for again, so second elements, you take all the second elements 1, 3, 5, 7. So 1, 3, 5, 7. So you make a set out of second elements in the ordered pairs which belongs to the relation. It is going to give you the set Y. ಹೀಗೇನಿದೆ, number of elements in A x 4 ಇದೆ, number of elements in Y 4 ಇದೆ. Then the total number of relations defined from x to y, right? Number of relations defined from x to y, it is 2 to the power 4 into 4. It is going to be 2 to the power ಏನಾಯ್ತು 2 to the power 16, right? ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ? Understood? Understood? ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗಿದೆಯಾ ನಿಮಗೆ? Any doubts, Varalakshmi?
No, sir.
Right.
Thank you.
So now we'll go to next question. So let us go for question number 20. So 20th question ಏನಿದೆ, A is a set 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. B ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಿದೆ ಎಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ 2, 3, 4, 5. And a relation R is defined from A to B such that, so it contains x comma y in such a way that x belongs to A, y belongs to B, and y is equal to 2x plus 1 ಇದೆ. What is R inverse? ಸೊ ಆರ್ ಇನ್ವರ್ಸ್ ಫೈಂಡ್ ಔಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಅಂದಾಗ ನಿಮಗೆ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಆರ್ ಫೈಂಡ್ ಔಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಿದೆ ರಿಲೇಷನ್ y is equal to 2x plus 1. So I should choose the x values from set A and compute the equation y is equal to 2x plus 1. A ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರೋ ನಂಬರ್ಸ್ ತಗೊಂಡು x ಗೆ ಹಾಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, y ಏನ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕು. ಸೊ ಯು ಚೆಕ್ ವಾಟ್ ಎವರ್ ದ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಆಫ್ y you obtain whether it belongs to set B or not. If it belongs to set B, then the ordered pair formed by those two elements x and y belongs to the relation. That is the definition. So ಈಗ ನಾನೇನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ತೀನಿ, x is equal to 1 ತಗೋಣ. So if x is 1, y is 2 plus 1, it becomes 3. So obviously 3 is there in set B. So now 1,3 belongs to the relation. ಹೀಗಾಗುತ್ತೆ. Suppose if you take x is equal to 2, y ಏನಪ್ಪ ಆಯ್ತು 2 into 2 4 plus 1, it becomes 5. Obviously it belongs to the set B. So ನಿಮಗೆ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಎಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ 2, 5 ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. Suppose if you take x is equal to 3, ನೋಡಿ x is equal to 3 ಏನಾಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, y is equal to 2 into 3 6 plus 1, it becomes 7. It is not there in B. So 3 7 ರಿಲೇಟ್ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ? If you take 4 again 8 plus 1 9 you get more than 7 ಬರ್ತಾ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ ಎಲ್ಲದಕ್ಕೂ. You don't get any other element. So R becomes 1,3 and 2,5 ಆಯ್ತು. Now you need to find out what is R inverse. R inverse ಏನಪ್ಪಾ ಇದಕ್ಕೆ? So R inverse is going to be 3,1 reverse ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ and 5,2. 3,1 and 5 comma 2. That is going to be your R inverse 3 comma 1 and 5 comma 2. So option D is going to be the correct answer for this. Now, so 21st question ನೋಡಿ ಏನಿದೆ. You have a set A whose elements are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's given by x is related to y if and only if y is equal to 3x, right? Y is equal to 3x ಅಂತ ಇದೆ. ನೋಡಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ y is equal to 3x, right? So y is equal to 3x ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ y is 3 times x. So you are supposed to find out r. But here I'm going to put x is equal to 1. If you put x is equal to 1, y becomes 3. So you should check whether they belongs to A or not. Yes. So you will get first element. It is going to be 1 comma 3. But 1 comma 3 ಯಾವುದ್ರಲ್ಲಾದ್ರೂ ಇದೆಯಾ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. So 3 comma 1, 3 comma 1, 3 comma 1 ಇದೆ. So none of the relations have 1 comma 3. Obviously. So none of this is going to be the correct answer for this. So you will not have any other so elements which belongs to this. Yes. So anything you would like to ask, Venkatesh? Venkatesh? Venkatesh, any doubt? Venkatesh?
Sir,
Yeah, tell me what is your doubt?
sir, before question option A alwa sir, ಅದು before question 20,
ಯಾವುದು?
question number 20.
1 second. Yes, yes. I'll ನೋಡಿ. Yes, very good. Right. ಇಲ್ಲಿ 3 comma 1 and 5 comma 2. All of you. Yes, it's very good. So ನೋಡಿ ಈಗ 3 comma 1 and 5 comma 2. So I think most of you have raised your hand for that. Correct? Yes. So it is 2 comma 5 and 5 comma 2 ಇದೆ. It's correct. ಸರಿ ಇದೆ. So ನಾನೇನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಇದನ್ನ 2 comma 5 ಟಿಕ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ. That is not correct. Yes. Any other doubts? All right. Good. So it is option A is going to be the correct answer. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ? Right. So now we'll go to 21st question. ನೋಡಿ 21st question ಏನಿದೆ ನೋಡಿ. So ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ R is a relation defined on A. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It is given by, right? So X is related to Y if and only if Y is equal to 3X. Understood? So Y is equal to 3X and the second element should be 3 times the first element. Which are the options in which second element is 3 times the first element ನೋಡಿ. So 3 times the first element ಇರೋದು ಯಾವ್ದಿದೆ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕು ನೀವು ಇಲ್ಲಿ. So it is going to be 1 comma 3 ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ first element. So ಯಾವ options ಅಲ್ಲಿ 1 comma 3 ಇದೆ ನೋಡಿ. Because you are asked to find R here, it is not R inverse. So none of the options got 1 comma 3. Therefore, certainly your answer for this question is going to be option D is going to be the right choice. Understand? We'll go to next question. 22nd question ನೋಡಿ. A is equal to 1, 2, 3 and B is equal to 1, 4, 6, 9. If a relation R from A to B is defined as X is greater than Y, then what is the range of R? ನೋಡಿ ಈಗ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ನಾವು ರಿಲೇಷನ್ಸ್ ನೋಡ್ಕೋಣ. So range is nothing but set of all second elements. What we can do here, so here it is given that X is greater than Y ಅಂತ ಇದೆ. I am going to write that in the symbolic form. So R contains X comma Y such that ನೀವು X ನ set A ಇಂದ ತಗೊಳ್ಬೇಕು. You should take element X from A and element Y from B. So in such a way that X is greater than Y. So first element is greater than second element ಆದಾಗ so you put that ordered pair under the relation R. That is the question. Now I am going to take X as 1, form the ordered pairs with these elements of B. Elements of B 1, 4, 6, 7 is there. So 1 is not greater than any elements of B. So you don't get any combination with 1. Again you take X as 2. So here 2 comma 1. Now the first element is X is greater than Y. 2 comma 1 ಬಂತು. 2, 6, 2, 9 you don't get. Again 3 comma 1, right? X is greater than Y ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. So 3, 4, 3, 6, 3, 9. So I don't get that. So you get only the elements of R. ಈಗ I supposed to write range. Range ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು? It is going to be the set of second elements in the ordered pair which belongs to the relation. ಈಗ second element ಯಾವುದಿದೆ? It is going to be 1. You form a set out of it. So this is called as a range of a relation R. range of a relation R is going to be a set containing the element 1. So therefore, option C is going to be the correct answer for this. Artha aita elrigo? Understood? All of you? Mahadevi, any doubts?
ಸರ್ ಇನ್ನೊಮ್ಮೆ ರಿಪೀಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ.
ನೋಡಪ್ಪ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ರಿಲೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಫೈಂಡ್ ಔಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕು. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ರಿಲೇಷನ್ ಏನ್ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಟೂ ಎಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ ವೈ ಯಾವಾಗ ರಿಲೇಟ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಎಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ ಗ್ರೇಟರ್ ದೆನ್ ವೈ ಇದ್ದಾಗ. ಸೊ ಯು ಶುಡ್ ಟೇಕ್ ಎಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಸೆಟ್ ಎ. ಎಕ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎಕ್ಸ್ ಎಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಎ ಇಂದ ತಗೊಳ್ಬೇಕು. ಸಪೋಸ್ ಈಗ 1 ತಗೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಯು ಕಂಪೇರ್ 1 ವಿತ್ ಅದರ್ ಎಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ 1 4 6 9 ಎಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಬಿ. ನೋಡಿ, ಎಲ್ಲ ಎಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ 1 is less than the second element, first element, this one, second element 1 4 6 9. So 1 is not related to any other elements. You don't get any other ordered pair with 1 as the first element. Hage you take 2 as the first element. Illi idiyalla x ge 2 hakkoli. So if you take 1 4 6 9, this is greater than this. So ordered pair formed by 2 comma 1 belongs to the relation. Understood? Again, you take 3 as the first element. So 1 4 6 9 ide. So if you observe this 3 comma 1, nodi, so 3 is greater than first second element 1. So 3 comma 1 belongs to that. 3 4 ತಗೊಳ್ಳೋದಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ, 3 less than the second element, right? So again 3 6 3 9 does not come. So the elements which are related to each other under this relation is 2 comma 1 and 3 comma 1. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತೇನಪ್ಪ? ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ ಮಾದೇವಿ? Do you understand? So now you got the elements 2 comma 1 and 3 comma 1 in the relation. You are supposed to find out a range of the relation is what anta kelidre. What is the range of the relation? So range of relation is nothing but set containing the second element in the ordered pair that belongs to the relation. Idralli second element yavudide nodಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, 1, here also 1, right? So you take that element and form a set. So you get a set which contains 1, right? So that is going to be the range of this relation. Understood? Understood? Artha agidya? Any other doubt? So now we'll go to question number 23. 23rd question is nodi. You are having a relation defined from, so two sets 2 3 4 5 to the set 3 6 7 10 by x is related to y, if and only if. So I'm going to write like this: x is relatively prime to y anta. So nodi, relation ಏನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, it contains the ordered pairs formed by x and y such that, so I will take the first set as A and the second set as B, right? So x belongs to A. You take x element from A and y from B. So now suppose if x is relatively prime, x is relatively prime to y iddaga, ordered pair formed by them belongs to the relation anta ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. So you are all not familiar with, if you are familiar with relatively prime, well and good. Otherwise ನೋಡಿ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ relatively prime ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು ಅಂತ. So two integers, I am going to write 2 integers are said to be, so these are said to be relatively prime to each other, relatively prime to each other if, so HCF, highest common factor, or GCD ಅಂದ್ರೆ greatest common divisor, or ನಿಮಗೆ HCF ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, right, of A and B, right? A and B is 1. Highest common factor or greatest common divisor of them is 1 ಇರಬೇಕು. So if it is 1, then they are said to be relatively prime to each other ಅಂತ ಇದೆ. ಈಗ you are having two sets here. You are having set A whose elements are 2 3 4 5. So 2 3 4 5 ಇದೆ. And again B is a set whose elements are 3 6 7 10. 3 6 7 10. Now ಈಗ x ನ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಸೆಟ್ A ಇಂದ ತಗೋಣ. ಈಗ ಐ ಆಮ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಟೇಕ್ x ಫ್ರಮ್ A. ಈಗ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, 2 ತಗೊಳ್ಳಿ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಎಲಿಮೆಂಟ್. ಸೊ GCD or HCF of which and which element with 2 is 1 ಅಂತ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. You compare 2 with all other elements. ಈ 2 ಗೆ ಯಾವ ಎಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಜೊತೆ HCF 1 ಬರುತ್ತೆ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕು. ಸೊ So HCF of 2 and 3 is 1, right? So therefore, so 2 is related to 3. Hage 2 and 6 ge HCF is not 1, so they are not related, they are not relatively prime. 2 and 7, their HCF is 1, so 2 is relatively prime to 7, right? They are related to each other. And 2 and 10, HCF is not going to be 1, so therefore, so you are not going to have 2 related to 10. Hagene, you observe 3, 3, 3, 6, 3, 7, and 3, 10. Node, HCF of 3, 3, 3, 6 is not 1, so therefore they are not related to each other. HCF of 3 and 7 is 1, so therefore they are relatively prime. HCF of 3 and 10 is 1, so they are relatively prime. Again, 4 and 3, right? So HCF of 4 and 3 is 1, so 4 is related to 3. Again, 4 and 6 HCF is not 1, 4 and 7 HCF is 1, they are relatively prime. 4 and 10 it is not 1, we will leave that. ಮತ್ತೆ 5 ತಗೊಳ್ಳಿ HCF of 5 and 3, HCF of 5 and 6, and HCF of 5 and 7. So HCF of 5 and 3 is 1, so they are relatively prime. And 5, 6 they are relatively prime. 5 and 7 they are relatively prime. So this is going to be the relation. Now ಏನು ಕೇಳಿದರೆ ಈಗ you are supposed to find out what is the domain of R ಅಂತ, right? So domain of R ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು, ಇದರಲ್ಲಿರೋದೆಲ್ಲ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಎಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ತಗೊಳ್ಬೇಕು. So I'm going to write a domain of the relation R. You take all the first elements. Which are the first elements? 2, 3, and again 4. There is 5 here. Any other elements? No. So you form a set out of it. So idrannu set madkonಡ್ರೆ containing the elements 2, 3, 4, 5. That is going to form the domain of R. So ಸರಿ ಉತ್ತರ ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ನಿಮಗೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, option D is going to be the right choice, right? Any other doubts? Anybody? So let me talk to Chandrika. Chandrika, can you tell me what is your doubt?
Sir, repeat ಮಾಡಿ sir ಆ question.
So ನೋಡಪ್ಪ, ಈಗ ರಿಲೇಟಿವ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರೈಮ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ? ಚಂದ್ರಿಕಾ ಹೇಳಿ. What do you understand? ರಿಲೇಟಿವ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರೈಮ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನ್ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತು ನಿಮ್ಗೆ?
ಅದು ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ ಸರ್, ನಂಗೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ರಿಪೀಟ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ.
ನೋಡಿ, 2 ಎಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ರಿಲೇಟಿವ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರೈಮ್ ಅಂತ ಯಾವಾಗ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, ಎರಡು ನಂಬರ್ದು HCF 1 ಇರಬೇಕು. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತೇನಮ್ಮ?
ಎಸ್ ಸರ್.
ಸೊ ಈಗ ಯಾವ್ಯಾವ ಎಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಗೆ HCF 1 ಇದೆ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. 2 ಗೆ 3 ಗೆ HCF 1 ಇದೆ. 2, 3 ಆರ್ ರಿಲೇಟೆಡ್. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ? 2 ಗೆ 7 ಗೆ HCF 1 ಇದೆ, ಸೊ ದೇ ಆರ್ ರಿಲೇಟೆಡ್ ಟು ಈಚ್ ಅದರ್. 2 and 10, so again you don't get. ಮತ್ತೆ 3 and so 7 ಗೆ HCF 1 ಇದೆ, they are related to each other. So 3, 10 ಗೆ HCF 1 ಇದೆ, they are related to each other. ಹಾಗೆ ನೀವು ಬೇರೆ ಎಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಇಂದ ಎಲ್ಲ ಚೆಕ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ this is going to be the relation. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ?
ಎಸ್ ಸರ್.
ಸೊ ಈಗ ಈ ರಿಲೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಆರ್ಡರ್ಡ್ ಪೇರ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಎಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ತಗೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಎಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಯಾವ್ದಿದೆ? 2, 3, 4, 5. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಬಿ ದ ಡೊಮೈನ್ ಆಫ್ ಆರ್. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ ಚಂದ್ರಿಕಾ?
ಎಸ್ ಸರ್.
ಈಗ ರೇಂಜ್ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಏನ್ ಬರೀತೀರಾ? ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದಟ್ ರೇಂಜ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ರೈಟ್? ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಎಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ತಗೊಳ್ಬೇಕು. 3, 7, 10, 6. ಕರೆಕ್ಟಾ? 3, 7, 10, 6. ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಎಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ತಗೊಂಡು ಸೆಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಅದೇನ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ? ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದಟ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್? ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ as what? ರೇಂಜ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ರಿಲೇಷನ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಮ್ಮ?
ಎಸ್ ಸರ್.
ಸೊ ನೋಡಿ, ಈ ಡೆಫಿನೇಷನ್ ಜ್ಞಾಪಕ ಇಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕು. When do you say two integers are said to be relatively prime? If their HCF is always ಏನಿರ್ಬೇಕು? 1 ಇರಬೇಕು. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ?
ಎಸ್ ಸರ್.
Right. So now we'll go to question number 24. Right. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗಿದೆ, you can just down your hands. Mahadevi, so I think the same doubt you had, so you got it cleared. Just raise lower your hand, all of you. So R is equal to x comma y such that xy belongs to z, and x square plus y square lesser than or equal to 4 is a relation on z. Then what is the domain of R? Vilas nimge ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಚಾನ್ಸ್ ಕೊಡ್ತೀನಿ, ಒಂದು 2 ನಿಮಿಷ ಇದನ್ನ ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್ ಸಾಲ್ವ್ ಮಾಡೋಣ. I will get back to you afterwards. So x comma y belongs to z such that x square plus y square lesser than or equal to 4 is a relation on z. Then what is the domain of R anta kelidare illi, right? So now you should find out what are the values of x. So ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಈಗ x square plus y square lesser than or equal to 4 ಇದೆ. You should find out the value of x for which this equation is satisfied, right? So ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ x y ಎರಡು ಏನಿದೆ they are going to be integers. So now ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ಸಿ ತಗೊಳ್ತೀನಿ ನೋಡಿ. ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ಸಿ ಅಲ್ಲಿ x is equal to -1 ಹಾಕೋಣ. So -1 ಹಾಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ನೋಡಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ. So if you put x is equal to -1, you are going to get what is y ಏನ್ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ನೋಡಿ. Otherwise you take ಇದನ್ನ ಈಕ್ವಾಲಿಟಿ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತೆ. x square plus y square is equal to 4. So y squared is equal to 4 minus x square ಆಯ್ತು. y is equal to root of plus or minus root of 4 minus x square you get. ಈಗ x is equal to 0 ಹಾಕೋಣ. x is equal to 0 ಹಾಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, y is equal to plus or minus 4 under the root plus or minus 2. It is an integer, it exists. Suppose if x is equal to, you take plus or minus 1 ಏನ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ನೋಡಿ. So if x is plus 1 or minus 1, right? So if x is plus or minus 1, what is that y you are going to get? Y is equal to plus or minus root 3 ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ನೋಡಿ. ಇದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ತಗೊಂಬಂದು ಹಾಕಿ 1 plus 3 4, it is lesser than or equal to 4. So this is possible, value of x is possible, right? So suppose if you put x is equal to plus or minus 2, right? So x is equal to plus or minus 2 ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, y is equal to, so if you put plus 2 here, 4 minus 4 0. If you put minus 2, 4 minus 4 again 0, y is equal to 0. So it exists. Not x is equal to 2 and y equal to 0 ಹಾಕೊಳ್ಳಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ. So 4 lesser than or equal to 4, it is possible. If x is minus 2 square plus 0, it is possible, right? So now the possible values of x, not these are the domain elements. X values are the domain values or domain elements, right? So therefore domain of a relation R, it is nothing but a set whose elements are 0, 1, 2, -1 and -2. Option C is going to be the correct answer for this, right? ನೋಡಿ ಈಗ ವಿಲಾಸ್ ಮಾತಾಡಿ. ವಿಲಾಸ್, tell me ವಿಲಾಸ್. ವಿಲಾಸ್ ನೀವು ಮಾತಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ಎನಿ ಡೌಟ್ಸ್? ವಿಲಾಸ್ ರಾಥೋಡ್, ವಿಲಾಸ್, yeah, do you want to so do you have any questions?
Sir, ಹಿಂದಿನ ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಇತ್ತು ಸರ್.
ಯಾವ್ದಪ್ಪ? which question number
21 ಸರ್.
21 ಹೇಳಿ. 21 ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನ್ ಡೌಟ್ ಇದೆ? ಹೇಳಿ 21 ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನ್ ಡೌಟ್ ಇದೆ?
ಸರ್ 21 ಅದು ತಿಳಿದಿಲ್ಲ ಸರ್ ನನಗೆ.
ಸೊ ನೋಡಪ್ಪ ಏನಿದೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ y is 3 times x ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ second element is 3 times the first element. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ? So if second element is 3 times the first element, then the ordered pair formed by them belongs to the relation ಅಂತ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ ಈಗ x ಗೆ 1 ಹಾಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. if you put x is equal to 1, y ಏನ್ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ? 3 ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ರಿಲೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವ ಎಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಇರ್ಬೇಕು ನಿಮ್ಗೆ? 1, 3 ಬರ್ಬೇಕು. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತೇನಪ್ಪ? ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ ವಿಲಾಸ್? ಸೊ ಈಗ ನೋಡಿ 1, 3 should be there in R. ಈ ರಿಲೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವ್ದ್ರಲ್ಲೂ 1, 3 ಇಲ್ಲ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ. ಸೊ ಆಪ್ಷನ್ A, B, C, they don't have 1, 3. So therefore the left out option is none of this. ಉಳಿದಿರೋದನ್ನ ನೀವು ಫೈಂಡ್ ಔಟ್ ಮಾಡೋ ಅವಶ್ಯಕತೆ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ನೀವು ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ going to be the option D is going to be the correct choice for this one, right? So ಹಾಗೆ we'll go to question number 25. So ಏನಾದರೂ minor doubts ಇದ್ರೆ we will discuss that afterwards. Let me first complete this one. ನೋಡಿ ಈಗ relation 5 instead of, so R they have given 5. So from C to R, where what is C? C is set of complex numbers, right? So in such a way that x related to y if and only if modulus of x is y anta ide, right? So ಇಲ್ಲಿ suppose if z is x plus iy, if it is a complex number, ನೋಡಿ mod z ಏನಪ್ಪ ಇದೆ? it is nothing but root of x square plus y square. ಇದು ಫಾರ್ಮುಲಾ ಜ್ಞಾಪಕ ಇಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕು. now ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ? if x is related to y, modulus of this z should be same as modulus of the first number should be same as y. So I will take the first one. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ modulus of 2 plus 3i ನೋಡ್ಕೋಣ. So let us see whether it is equal to 13 or not ಅಂತ. Now it is first one left hand side modulus ತಗೊಂಡಾಗ 2 square is going to be 4 plus 3 square is 9. Is it equal to root? It is 13. It is root 13 ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. It is not equal to 13. Option A is not a choice. ಹಾಗೇನೆ ಲೆಫ್ಟ್ ಸೈಡ್ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಒನ್ ನೋಡಿ ಮಾಡ್ಯುಲಸ್ ಆಫ್ 3 is equal to -3 ಅಂತ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಸೇಮ್ ರೈಟ್. ಮಾಡ್ಯುಲಸ್ ಆಫ್ 3 ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ 3 ಇರಬೇಕು, ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ? ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ -3 ಅಂತ ಇದೆ ರೈಟ್ ಸೈಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ. ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ದ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ರೈಟ್. ಸೊ ಈಗ ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ಸಿ ಹೋಗೋಣ. ಮಾಡ್ಯುಲಸ್ ಆಫ್ 1 plus i is equal to 2 ಇದೆಯಾ ಚೆಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಣ. ನೋಡಿ ಈಗ ಮಾಡ್ಯುಲಸ್ ಆಫ್ 1 plus i ತಗೊಂಡಾಗ ರೂಟ್ ಆಫ್ 1 square plus 1 square, so it is not equal to 2. ಅದು ರೂಟ್ 2 ಬರಬೇಕು. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಎ ಚಾಯ್ಸ್. ಉಳಿದಿರೋದು ಯಾವ್ದಿದೆ? ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ಡಿ ಇಸ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಬಿ ದ ರೈಟ್ ಚಾಯ್ಸ್. ನೋಡಿ ಈಗ ಮಾಡ್ಯುಲಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಐ ಈಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಸೇಮ್ ಆಸ್ 1 ಅಂತ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಣ. ಮಾಡ್ಯುಲಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಐ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನಾಯ್ತು? ರೂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ 0 ಇದೆ, y 1 ಇದೆ, ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಈಕ್ವಲ್ ಟು 1. root 1 is equal to 1. So therefore option D is going to be the correct answer. ಸರಿ ಉತ್ತರ ನಿಮಗೆ D ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. Now 26th question ನೋಡಿ. It is a direct definition. R is a relation from set A into set B. Then what should be R? R is equal to A union B. R is A intersection B. R is subset of A cross B. R is subset of B cross A ಅಂತ ಇದೆ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಸರಿ ಉತ್ತರ ನಿಮಗೆ it is a definition of a relation. R is a subset of A cross B ಇರಬೇಕು. So this is how you can solve the questions on relations, right? So with this idea we will go to functions. So functions ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಏನಪ್ಪಾ ಅಂತ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕು ಈಗ ನೀವು. So now functions is not a new concept. It's again the repetition of the relations with some additional conditions. That's all. It's again a relation with some additional conditions. So I'm going to explain the definition of a function. Suppose if A and B are any two sets, a function from set A into set B, it is symbolically denoted as f. F anta baritivi, right? So function from set A into set B is denoted by f, right? So now this relation f from set A into set B is said to be a function if it satisfies two conditions. ಜ್ಞಾಪಕ ಇಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. Condition number 1, all the elements, right? All the elements of A, all the elements of set A are mapped to some elements of B. Some elements of set B. ಇದು ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಡೌಟ್ ನಿಮಗೆ. ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ ಚೆಕ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗಿರೋದು. Then condition number 2, so if all the elements of A are mapped to some elements of B, second condition ಏನು ಚೆಕ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು? No same element of A is mapped to two different elements of B ಇರಬೇಕು. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ? mapped to two different elements of B, two different elements of B. So if no same element is mapped to two different, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು ಎಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಎರಡಕ್ಕೆ ಮ್ಯಾಪ್ ಆಗಿರಬಾರ್ದು. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ? That means a single person cannot appear in two places at the same time, right? ಒಬ್ಬ ಮನುಷ್ಯ ಎರಡು ಕಡೆ ಒಂದೇ ಸಾರಿ ಅಪಿಯರ್ ಆಗೋದಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ if he is a normal human being, right? So but all the elements, condition 1 ಏನ್ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದೆ? Every element should be mapped to some elements of B. Understood? Then so if the first condition is cleared, second condition ಏನ್ ಚೆಕ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು? ಯಾವ್ದಾದ್ರೂ ಒಂದೇ ಎಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಎರಡಕ್ಕೆ ಮ್ಯಾಪ್ ಆಗಿದೆಯಾ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕು. If a same element is mapped to two different elements, certainly that is not going to be a function. You can just reject that. It is not going to be a function, right? Otherwise, if it satisfies these two conditions, it is going to be a function. Iga, I am going to write some examples. You can look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4 ide. So I am going to write x, y, z. F is mapping 1 to x, 3 to x, and 4 to z. ನೋಡಿ ಈಗ f ಫಂಕ್ಷನ್ ಇಲ್ವಾ ನೋಡ್ಕೋಣ. f is not a function here because 2 is not mapped to any element of y, right? Any element of the set B. So here f is not a function. Understood? So because 2 is not mapped to some elements of B. 2 is not mapped to any element, right? Or any element or some element, you can write any element of B. Therefore, it is not a function. So now I'll write one more. You can look at this one. So here F, and it is mapping A to B. 1, 2, 3, A, B, C, and D. F takes 1 to A, 2 to B, and 3 to C. Now you can observe all the elements are mapped to some elements of B. Same element of A is not mapped to two different elements. Only two different elements you can map to same element. That is possible, right? But no same element is mapped to two different elements. So here f from A to B is a function, right? This is going to be a function. Now, suppose if you take this one 3 to D thermometer, so now 3 is mapped to two different elements. That is not going to be a function now, right? So I'm going to remove that 3 here. But ಈ ತರ ಇರಬೇಕು ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ? So I'm going to draw another one so that you can understand, right? So we will take A, B. F is a relation from A to B. So it maps 1 to 3 to 4, 5, 6, 7. 1 to 4, 2 to 5, 3 to 6, and 3 to 7. Node 3 is mapped to two different elements. That is not allowed. Uniqueness of mapping will fail. So therefore, set f from relation f from A to B is not a function in this case. Artha aita? So it is not going to be a function. All right. So now, suppose if f is a function from A to B, it is symbolically denoted as follows. So now daily synopsis is f from A to B is a function. So now, if f is a function from set A into set B, right? So which maps an element x into an element y of the second set, then this first element, this is called as the pre-image. This is called as pre-image of y, and y is called as image anta ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. This is called as image of x, and this is symbolically denoted by f of x is equal to y anta ಬರಿತೀವಿ. So you can write this in the symbolic form, f of x is equal to y. So what does it says? What does it means? A function f maps an element x of the first set A into an element y of the second set. Suppose if f is a function from A to B, right? Then the first set A is called as domain of the function f. Then the second set B, it is called as codomain of f. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ? ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಸೆಟ್ ಅನ್ನ ಕೋಡೊಮೈನ್ ಅಂತೀವಿ, ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಸೆಟ್ ಅನ್ನ ಡೊಮೈನ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ, ರೈಟ್? Suppose if you take z here and here another element u I am going to write, right? So suppose if you have another element p here, p is mapped to u. ನೋಡಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಇಮೇಜ್ ಯಾವ್ದಪ್ಪ ಇದೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ it is u and y. They are the only images. You take those two images and you form a set out of it. ಅವೆರಡು ಇಮೇಜ್ ತಗೊಂಡು ಸೆಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಬಿಡಿ. That is going to be the range. So range of f. Range of f ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು? It is going to be set containing only images, right? So only images ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಸೆಟ್ ಗೆ ಬರ್ಬೇಕು ನೀವು. ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಸೆಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವ್ಯಾವ್ದು ಮ್ಯಾಪ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ಅದನ್ನ ಮಾತ್ರ ತಗೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಸೆಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ. So that is going to give you the relation range. So that is going to give you the range of the function f. So if f is a function, first of all, to define the domain and range, so I should see whether that f is going to be a function or not. If f is a function from A to B, then all this question occurs. If f is not a function, then so no question of domain, codomain, and the range. If f is a function from A to B, so then first set A is called as the domain of the function. Second set B is going to be the codomain of the function. Then the set containing all the images under the function is going to be the range, right? So now you are having certain types of functions, simple functions, which is in your first PU syllabus, right? So first one, it is modulus function. Modulus function definition already ಬರ್ದಿದ್ದೀನಿ ನೋಡಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ. So a function f of x is equal to mod x, where mod x is taken to be x if x greater than 0, 0 if x is equal to 0, minus x when x is less than 0. So that is called as modulus function. Greatest integer function ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ f of x is equal to greatest integer x. ಅದಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ ನಿಮಗೆ ಡೀಟೇಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೈನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಸಿಗ್ನಮ್ ಫಂಕ್ಷನ್ ಅಂತ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. A function f defined from R to R. It is defined as f maps x to 1 when x is greater than 0. That means, so those numbers, real numbers which are greater than 0, so numbers which are greater than 0 are mapped to 1. X will map 0 to 0 and it will map all negative numbers. Nodi, all positive numbers are mapped to 1, all negative numbers are mapped to -1, and 0 is mapped to 0. Such kind of function is called as signum function anta heltivi, right? So it is also in the simple form denoted by f of x is equal to mod x by x, or f of x is equal to x by mod x anta heltivi, right? So now I have listed some domain of functions. Domain ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ first set alliro elements for which the function exists, that is called as the domain. Range means it is the set containing all the images under the given function, that is going to be the range. Understood? So now with this we'll go to question number 1. Now it's quite an interesting question, all of you. So here greatest integer x anta ide. ನಾನು ಏನು ಹೇಳಿದೆ ಆಗಲೇ, ಗ್ರೇಟೆಸ್ಟ್ ಇಂಟೀಜರ್ ಫಂಕ್ಷನ್ ನಾವು ಡೆಫಿನೇಷನ್ ಹೇಳಿದ್ವಿ, ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗಲ್ಲ ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ, ರೈಟ್? ಸೊ ಆ ಡೆಫಿನೇಷನ್ ಓದಿದ್ರೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. Now what you can do, I will explain that in detail with some examples. Greatest integer ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ it is the greatest integer. Definition ಏನು ಹೇಳುತ್ತೆ? greatest integer less than or equal to x ಅಂತ. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ? ಅಂದ್ರೆ when you are writing the value of this greatest integer x, first x ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕು ನೀವು. ಈ x ನ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕು. What is the nature of this x ಅಂತ? If it is integer, x integer ಆದಾಗ greatest integer value of that x is itself, right? ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ suppose if you take greatest integer of 1, you are going to write 1. Greatest integer of 2, it is 2 itself. Greatest integer of 3, it is 3 itself. Greatest integer of 0, it is 0 itself. Greatest integer of -1, it is an integer, so -1 itself. Greatest integer of -2, it is -2 only. Greatest integer of -6, it is -6 only. Suppose if it is not an integer, x is not an integer, if it is a fraction, you should choose the integer which is smaller than that fraction, right? So andre nodi iga greatest integer of 0.5 barutte. So you should take the integer less than 0.5 antandre it is going to be 0. Suppose if you want to write greatest integer of 1.2, it is going to be 1. 1.2 is not an integer, so integer less than 1.2 is 1. Then greatest integer of 1.8, if you write, it is going to be 1. Greatest integer of 2.3, it is going to be 2. Greatest integer of 2.6, it is again 2. Greatest integer of minus 0.5, ನೋಡಿ ಮೈನಸ್ 0.5 ಲೆಸ್ ದೆನ್ ದಟ್ ಇಂಟೀಜರ್ ಇರೋದು -1. ನೆಗೆಟಿವ್ ನಂಬರ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹಿಂದಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗ್ತೀರಾ ನೀವು. ಸೊ ಗ್ರೇಟೆಸ್ಟ್ ಇಂಟೀಜರ್ ಆಫ್ -0.8, it is -1. Greatest integer of -1.2, it is the integer less than -1.2 is -2. Greatest integer of -1.5, it is -2. ಈ ತರ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ? So have this idea in your mind. So with this I will go to the next one. It is greatest integer x square. So greatest integer x square minus 5 times greatest integer x plus 6 is equal to 0. Now ಇದನ್ನ ಮನಸ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ x ಅಂತ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡು you solve it as your quadratic equation. Quadratic equation ಹೇಗೆ ಸಾಲ್ವ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ ಅದೇ ತರ ಸಾಲ್ವ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. Greatest integer x square minus 3 times greatest integer x minus 2 times greatest integer x plus 6 is equal to 0, right? ಸೊ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಆಮೇಲೆ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಶಾರ್ಟ್ ಕಟ್ ಮೆಥಡ್ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಡ್ತೀನಿ ಹೇಗೆ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ, ರೈಟ್? ಸೊ ನಾವು ಈಗ if you take greatest integer x as common factor, so it becomes greatest integer x minus 3 here, right? Hage if you take minus 2 common factor, greatest integer x minus 3 you get, it is equal to 0. So now from this it is greatest integer x minus 3 into greatest integer x minus 2, this will be equal to 0. So from this you get greatest integer x minus 3 is equal to 0 or greatest integer x minus 2 is equal to 0 ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. So greatest integer x is equal to 3 and greatest integer x is equal to 2. Greatest integer values 3 ಯಾವಾಗ ಬರುತ್ತೆ? So that is possible when x lies between 3 and 4. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ? ಸೊ 3 and 4 ಯಾವ್ದು ಇರುತ್ತೋ ಅದಕ್ಕೆಲ್ಲ ಗ್ರೇಟೆಸ್ಟ್ ಇಂಟೀಜರ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ 3 ನೇ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಗ್ರೇಟೆಸ್ಟ್ ಇಂಟೀಜರ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ 2 ಯಾವಾಗ ಬರುತ್ತೆ? when x lies between what is that? 2 and 3. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ? 3 ಬಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ 3 ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. 3 is not included there. ನೋಡಿ ಈಗ ಇದೆರಡನ್ನು ಕಂಬೈನ್ ಮಾಡಿ, x is greater than or equal to 2 and less than 4. So therefore I can write it as x belongs to ನೋಡಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ 2 include ಆಗಿದೆ, ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ? 4 exclude ಆಗಿದೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ. So it is going to be the interval, closed interval 2 to open interval 4 ಅಂತ ಹಾಕೊಳ್ಬಹುದು. This is going to be option D is going to be the right choice. ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಇಲ್ಲೊಂದು ಶಾರ್ಟ್ ಕಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಬಹುದು ನೋಡಿ ಈಗ. So here how do you eliminate the answer? X is equal to 4 substitute ಮಾಡಿ. If you put x is equal to 4 square it is going to be 16 minus 5 into 4 it is 20 plus 6, this is not equal to 0. 4 include ಆಗಿರೋಂಥದ್ದು ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ ನಿಮಗೆ, ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ? So now this is not a choice. ನೋಡಿ, in case if you cannot solve this equation directly, ಈಗ ಇಲ್ಲಿ 2 ಇದೆ, ಒಂದು 2 include ಆಗಿದೆಯಾ ಚೆಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಣ. If you take x is equal to 2, right? x is equal to 2 ತಗೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಏನ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ನೋಡಿ? 2 square. So it is going to be, what is that? So 2 square is going to be 4 minus 5 into 2 10 plus 6. So it is equal to 0. Satisfy ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. So 2 ಇರುವಂತದ್ದು ಸೊಲ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಆಗಬೇಕು. That means here 2 is open interval ಇದೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ. 2 is not included. Therefore it is not a solution. Option is between C and D. ಎರಡರಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಉತ್ತರ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ರೈಟ್? ಸೊ ಇದು ಎರಡರಲ್ಲಿ ಆಪ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಎಲಿಮಿನೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಂದಾಗ ಯು ನೀಡ್ ಟು ಸಾಲ್ವ್ ದಿಸ್ ಈಕ್ವೇಶನ್, ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟುಡ್? ಸೊ ಅದನ್ನ ಸಾಲ್ವ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಇನ್ ಅದರ್ವೈಸ್ ನೀವು ಗೆಸ್ ಮಾಡೋದಾದ್ರೆ whatever the greatest integer values which are more than 4, so greatest between 4 and 3, it will be always reduced to 3. So therefore ಸರಿ ಉತ್ತರ ನಿಮಗೆ ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ಡಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಸಾಲ್ವ್ ಲೈಕ್ ದಿಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಎಲಿಮಿನೇಟ್ ದ ಆನ್ಸರ್ಸ್. ಎರಡು ಆಪ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಎಲಿಮಿನೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು ನೀವು. ಹಾಗೆ ಈಗ ನೋಡಿ, ಸೊ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್ ಏನಿದೆ? ರೇಂಜ್ ಆಫ್ ಎಫ್ ಆಫ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಈಕ್ವಲ್ ಟು 1 divided by 1 minus 2 cos x. ರೇಂಜ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಎಫ್ ಆಫ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ. ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ the value of this one? All possible value of 1 by 1 minus 2 cos x. So for which f of x becomes 1 divided by 1 minus 2 cos x ಅಂತ ಇದೆ. ನೋಡಿ, ನಾವಿಲ್ಲಿ ಈ cos x ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಣ ಇಲ್ಲಿ. So you know what is the range of cos x? Maximum value of cos x and minimum value of cos x ಅಂತ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಎಲ್ರಿಗೂ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ. So cos x always lies between +1 and -1. So maximum value of cos x ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ 1 ಇರುತ್ತೆ and minimum value of cos x is going to be -1. Cos x and sin x both are going to lie between +1 and -1. Now 2 cos x ಬೇಕು ನಿಮಗೆ. If you multiply by 2, -2 less than or equal to 2 cos x lesser than or equal to 2. So now what I do? I will multiply by negative sign. If you multiply by negative sign, you are going to get, it is 2. So inequality reverse ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. Greater than or equal to -2 cos x, which is greater than or equal to -2. Or it is nothing but writing -2 less than or equal to -2 cos x, which is lesser than or equal to 2 you get. So you are supposed to add 1 to it, adding 1 throughout. So add 1 ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡಾಗ 1 minus 2 lesser than or equal to plus 1 minus 2 cos x, so which is less than or equal to 1 plus 2. This is nothing but minus 1 lesser than or equal to 1 minus 2 cos x, which is less than or equal to 3 ಅಂತ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ ನೋಡಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ 1 minus 2 cos x should lie between minus 1 and 3. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ರೆಸಿಪ್ರೋಕಲ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ, ಸೊ 1 minus 2 cos x is there in the denominator, therefore it should not be equal to 0. That means it should lie between, right, 1 minus 2 cos x less than 0. ನೋಡಿ ಅದು 0 ಈಕ್ವಲ್ ಆಗಿಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಸೊ ಅದು 1/0 ಇನ್ಫೈನೈಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, the function will not exist, right? And again here, so 0 less than 1 minus 2 cos x, which is lesser than or equal to 3 ಅಂತ ತಗೊಳ್ಬೇಕು. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ? ಸೊ ಈಗ ನಿಮಗೆ ರೆಸಿಪ್ರೋಕಲ್ ಬೇಕು ನಿಮಗೆ. So what is the reciprocal of this one? It is minus 1 by 1 is minus 1. Reciprocal ತಗೊಂಡಾಗ inequality reverse ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. 1 divided by 1 minus 2 cos x, which is greater than 0, right? So and here you can write, so 1 by 0 is infinity, greater than 1 by 1 minus 2 cos x, right? So which is greater than or equal to 1 by 3 you are getting. So 1 by 3 is included, right? So it is 1 by 0 antandre it is going to be, you can write this as minus infinity, right? So it is going to be minus infinity less than or equal to 1 by 2, 1 minus 2 cos x, which is less than or equal to 1. So illi minus infinity is not included, so it's an infinite one. Here 1 by 3 lesser than or equal to 1 by 1 minus 2 cos x less than infinity barutte. So otherwise you can observe, nodi, x is greater than or equal to 1 by 3. 1 by 3 include agide illi, it goes more than that. More than 1 by 3 ಇರುವಂತದ್ದು ಯಾವ್ದಾವ್ದಿದೆ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. So including 3. First one, so and this is not a choice, less than 1 by 3 ಇದೆ, this will be there. So 1 by 3 to 1 ಇದೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ upper limit ಇಲ್ಲ, it keeps on moving, so this is not a choice, right? So here again ನೋಡಿ, you are getting negative values also here, so this does not include negative answer, so option C is going to be the right choice for this question, right? So direct ನೋಡಿ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು ನೀವೀಗ. So third question, this is again another useful question, right? So third one, very important question, right? Tell me, what is your doubt? Anybody? Yeah, we'll go to question number 4. Fourth question nodide, f of x is equal to root of 1 plus x square. So f of x is square root of 1 plus x square anta ide. Then what is the relation between f of xy and with f of x and f of y? What is going to be the relation between them? That is a question here. So what I do, I will take f of xy here. F of xy is going to be square root of 1 plus xy the whole square you get. It is going to be square root of 1 plus x square into y square you get. In the same way, what we do, I will find out f of x into f of y. F of x nodi enide, it is square root of 1 plus x square. F of y enide, root of 1 plus y square ide. So ಈಗ ಇದು ಎರಡನ್ನು ಮಲ್ಟಿಪ್ಲೈ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಣ. So it is root of 1 plus x square into root of 1 plus y square, right? You can take both of them under the same root. So now this is square root of 1 plus x square plus y square plus x square y square. Remember, 1 is a positive number, right? 1 is positive number, x square plus y square is positive, right? So this x square plus y square is added to this 1 plus x square plus y square. Idral jasti ide. So therefore, you can observe this f of x into f of y, it is more than f of xy, right? So averdu 0 agbitre matra equal agutte. Otherwise, you can write the option f of xy is lesser than or equal to f of x into f of y, because ನೋಡಿ f of x f of y x square y square ಕ್ವಾಂಟಿಟಿ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇದೆ ನಿಮಗೆ. ಸೊ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ that f of x into f of y should be more than f of xy. So f of xy should be lesser than or equal to f of x into f of y, right? So option C is going to be the correct answer for this. Anything else? Any other doubts? Anybody? So anything else to be asked? We'll go to the next question. Question number 4 ನೋಡೋಣ. ನಾಲ್ಕನೇ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಏನಿದೆ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. The domain of, right, domain of root of a square minus x square, right? So this root of a square minus x square, it should be always a real number ಇರಬೇಕು, right? So I'm going to write f of x exists for all x belongs to R, and root of a square minus x square should become a real number. ಇದು ಯಾವಾಗ ರಿಯಲ್ ನಂಬರ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಟರ್ಮ್ ಅಂಡರ್ ದ ರೂಟ್ ಕೆಳಗಡೆ ಇರೋದು ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಪಾಸಿಟಿವ್ ನಂಬರ್ ಇರಬೇಕು ಅಥವಾ ಝೀರೋ ಇರಬೇಕು. ಸಪೋಸ್ ಇಫ್ ಇಟ್ ಬಿಕಮ್ಸ್ ನೆಗೆಟಿವ್, ನೋಡಿ ನೆಗೆಟಿವ್ ನಂಬರ್ ಆಯ್ತು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ರೂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ನೆಗೆಟಿವ್ ನಂಬರ್ ಇಮ್ಯಾಜಿನರಿ ಬಂದ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ, ಫಂಕ್ಷನ್ ವಿಲ್ ನಾಟ್ ಎಕ್ಸಿಸ್ಟ್. ಸೊ ದೇರ್ ಫೋರ್ ದಿಸ್ term exists provided a square minus x square should be greater than or equal to 0. So either greater than or equal to 0 na irbeku, otherwise the function will not exist. So now what you can do, a square minus x square greater than 0 irodrinda a square should be always greater than x square. So x square should be lesser than or equal to a square, right? So nodi iga if you draw a number line, so from minus infinity to plus infinity, minus infinity to plus infinity, illondu minus a ide, illi plus a ide. X square is less than or equal to a square ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ x values a ಗಿನ್ನ ಕಡಿಮೆನೇ ಇರಬೇಕು, and so it should be more than minus a. If you come below minus a, it won't exist. So therefore, so x should be there in the region minus a to plus a. Therefore correct answer for this one, so x belongs to closed interval minus a to a, right? X belongs to closed interval minus a to a. So option B is going to be the correct answer for this question, right? So now ಫಿಫ್ತ್ ಕ್ವೆಶನ್ ನೋಡಿ, ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಕ್ವೈಟ್ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಕ್ವೆಶನ್, ನೀವೆಲ್ಲರೂ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು ಇದಕ್ಕೆ. ಫಿಫ್ತ್ ಕ್ವೆಶನ್ಗೆ ಏನಿದೆ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಏನಿದೆ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಎಫ್ ಆಫ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಈಕ್ವಲ್ ಟು ಎ ಎಕ್ಸ್ ಪ್ಲಸ್ ಬಿ ವೇರ್ ಎ ಅಂಡ್ ಬಿ ಆರ್ ಇಂಟೀಜರ್ಸ್. ಎಫ್ ಆಫ್ ಮೈನಸ್ ಒನ್ ಇಸ್ ಈಕ್ವಲ್ ಟು ಮೈನಸ್ ಫೈವ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಎಫ್ ಆಫ್ ತ್ರೀ ಇಸ್ ಈಕ್ವಲ್ ಟು ತ್ರೀ. ದೆನ್ ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಆಫ್ ಎ ಅಂಡ್ ಬಿ ಅಂತ ಇದೆ, ರೈಟ್? ಸೊ ಹಿಯರ್ ಎಫ್ ಆಫ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಎ ಎಕ್ಸ್ ಪ್ಲಸ್ ಬಿ ಇದೆ. ಯು ಪುಟ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಈಕ್ವಲ್ ಟು ಮೈನಸ್ ಒನ್ ಹಾಕೊಂಬಿಡಿ ಇದಕ್ಕೆ. So if you put x is equal to minus 1, f of minus 1 is equal to minus a plus b ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. So now from this f of minus 1 ಏನಿದೆ, minus 5 is equal to minus a plus 5. We will call it as some equation 1. ನಾವೇನ್ ಮಾಡೋಣ, x is equal to 3 ಹಾಕೋಣ. So if you put x is equal to 3, f of 3 ಆಯ್ತು, f of 3 is going to be 3a plus b. From this you are going to get, nodi f of 3 ಏನಿದೆ 3 ಇದೆ is equal to 3a plus b you get, right? So I think minus 5 is equal to minus a plus b ಇದೆ. This is 3a plus b. This is your equation 2. ಇವೆರಡನ್ನು ಸಾಲ್ವ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ನಿಮಗೆ obviously you are going to get the values of a and b. To solve this I am going to subtract, ಇದು ಮೈನಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಇದು ಮೈನಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, b cancel ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. Minus 5 minus 3 it becomes minus 8, minus a minus 3a it becomes minus 4a, a becomes 2. So the value of a is going to be 2. A 2 ಇರೋದು ಯಾವ್ದಪ್ಪ ಇದೆ, ಆಪ್ಷನ್ A, ಆಪ್ಷನ್ C and ಆಪ್ಷನ್ D. So option A and option C, they are not going to be choice. So you take this a equal to 5 and substitute this in equation 1. It is minus 5 is equal to minus 2 plus b. B is equal to minus 3 ಬರುತ್ತೆ, minus 5 plus 2. So ಸರಿ ಉತ್ತರ ಇದಕ್ಕೆ option B is going to be the correct answer. So option D is not the right choice. So A is equal to 2 and B is equal to minus 3. ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಸರಿ ಉತ್ತರ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. So now we'll go to sixth question. ನೋಡಿ ಸಿಕ್ಸ್ತ್ ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್ ಏನಿದೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ, here it is f of x is equal to root of 4 minus x plus 1 by root of x squared minus 1. What is the domain? So domain of this f of x ಏನು ಅಂತ ಕೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ, right? So domain of f of x ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ you should find out the value of x for which the entire function exists. ನಾನೇನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ತೀನಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಶಾರ್ಟ್ ಕಟ್ಸ್ ನೋಡೋಣ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ x is equal to 1 ಇರುವಂತದ್ದು ನೋಡೋಣ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ x is equal to 1 ಇನ್ಕ್ಲೂಡ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. x ಸ್ಕ್ವೇರ್ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ 1 ಆರ್ ಮೈನಸ್ ಒನ್ ಇನ್ಕ್ಲೂಡ್ ಆಗಿರೋದೇ ತಗೋಣ. x is equal to -1 ತಗೊಂಡ್ರೆ this function will not exist. So -1 square is 1 minus 1, it becomes 0. 1 by 0 is infinity. Option B is not a choice. X is equal to 1, right? So ಇಲ್ಲಿ 1 include ಆಗಿರೋದು ಯಾವ್ದಿದೆ? ಇಲ್ಲಿ option C and D ಇದೆ. ತಗೊಂಬಂದು x is equal to 1 ಹಾಕಿದ್ರೆ again, so √3 f of x is equal to √3 plus infinity ಬರುತ್ತೆ. This does not exist. So for -1 you get f of x is equal to √5 plus infinity, which does not exist. So 1 you cannot include. But ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ 1 include ಆಗಿದೆ. Option D ಅಲ್ಲಿ 1 include ಆಗಿದೆ. This is not a choice. So left out option is going to be option A. Direct ನೀವು shortcut methods ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. Otherwise you can just find out the solution by finding out the domain of root of 4 minus x find out ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕು. Domain of 1 by root of x square minus find out ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕು. So the values of x which satisfies both. So that gives you the domain of the function defined by f of x is equal to root of 4 minus x plus 1 by root of x squared minus 1. Right. So I'll go to 7th question. Nodi. Domain and range of the real function f defined by f of x is equal to 4 minus x divided by x minus 4. What is f of x here? It is 4 minus x divided by x minus 4. Not really. So you are dealing with the real function. So this exists. This will exist for all x if x minus 4 is not equal to 0. Denominator 0 ಹಾಕ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ function will vanish. So it will not exist. So therefore you should give the values of x so that denominator is not 0. X minus 4 should not be equal to 0, which gives you x should not be equal to 4. X 4 ge equal irbardu. So that means, so r should be, from the real numbers you are supposed to remove 4. R minus 4 ಇರುವಂತದ್ದು ಯಾವ್ದಿದೆ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, domain. So domain is going to be real numbers except 4. Real numbers except 4 ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ you are having only C. So ಉಳಿದಿದ್ದು ಯಾವುದು ಉತ್ತರ ಆಗೋದೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. So option A, B, D you can directly remove, right? But the range ಹೇಗಪ್ಪ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, look at this one. So you can simplify this one. F of x is equal to 4 minus x divided by x minus 4. It is 4 minus x divided by, you can take minus outside, minus of 4 minus x. ಎರಡು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ಸಲ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. f of x is equal to -1 ಬರುತ್ತೆ. That means whatever the value of x you give, all the real values of x are always mapped to -1. -1 is going to be the only image. Therefore, so you are going to get a range of f is always set containing -1, right? So -1 ಇರುವಂತದ್ದು ಮಾತ್ರ, -1 element ಮಾತ್ರ ನಿಮಗೆ image ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. Therefore range is going to be -1. Hence the answer whatever we have taken, that is going to be the correct answer, right? So now Radhika, what is your problem? Tell me what is doubt, Radhika?
So once again tell the finding domain, sir.
ನೋಡಪ್ಪ, ಡೊಮೈನ್ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ the values of x for which this function exists, right? So what are the value of x for which this function exists ಅಂತ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ? ಅದು ಡೊಮೈನ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಸ್. ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟುಡ್? ನೋಡಿ, ಈಗ ಇಲ್ಲಿ f of x divided by g of x ಫಾರ್ಮುಲಾ ಇದೆ. one function divided by another function. So denominator 0 ಹಾಕ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಇದು ಇನ್ಫಿನಿಟಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. So it is not going to exist. So x is equal to 4 ಹಾಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ denominator 0 ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. Hence x is equal to 4 should be removed from the real numbers, right? So if you remove x is equal to 4, it's going to be all real numbers except 4. That is going to be the domain of the function. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ ರಾಧಿಕಾ? Understood? Right. So hence your option C is going to be the right choice. Now we'll go to 8th question. Domain and range. So the domain and range of real function f defined by f of x is equal to square root of x minus 1 ಅಂತ ಇದೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ. ಸೊ f of x is equal to root of x minus 1 ನೋಡಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ. ಸೊ root of x minus 1 this exists if so term under the root ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಪಾಸಿಟಿವ್ ನಂಬರ್ ಇರಬೇಕು ಅಥವಾ 0 ಆಗಬೇಕು. ನೆಗೆಟಿವ್ ನಂಬರ್ ಆದ್ರೆ it becomes it is going to give you what? So imaginary number that does not exist. So it exists if x minus 1 should be greater than or equal to 0. From this x is greater than or equal to 1. So x always it should be greater than or equal to 1. X greater than or equal to 1 andre you can write that in the interval form. Nodi 1 include agide illi closed interval 1 to open interval infinity, right? So domain ido this is going to be the domain. X values alli irodella domain, f of x barodella range elements. So domain ಯಾವುದರಲ್ಲಿ 1 include ಆಗಿದೆ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಸೊ ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ಸಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಇದು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಕ್ಲೂಡ್ ಆಗಿದೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಕ್ಲೂಡ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಓಪನ್ ಇಂಟರ್ವಲ್ ಎ ಅಂಡ್ ಸಿ ಆರ್ ನಾಟ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಬಿ ದ ಚಾಯ್ಸ್. ನಾವು ದ ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ಇಸ್ ಬಿಟ್ವೀನ್ ಬಿ ಅಂಡ್ ಡಿ. ನೋಡಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ 1 ಇನ್ಕ್ಲೂಡ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ, ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ? ಸಿನ್ಸ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ ಈಕ್ವಲ್ ಟು 1 is included, what you can do, you put x is equal to 1 in this one, right? So if you put x is equal to 1, f of 1 ಏನಪ್ಪ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ? f of 1 is root of 1 minus 1, 0 ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ 0 is included. ಇದು ಎರಡರಲ್ಲಿ 0 ಯಾವ್ದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ಕ್ಲೂಡ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಸೊ ಹಿಯರ್ 0 is excluded because it's a open interval. ಓಪನ್ ಇಂಟರ್ವಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎಂಡ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ಕ್ಲೂಡ್ ಆಗಿರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಇನ್ ಕ್ಲೋಸ್ಡ್ ಇಂಟರ್ವಲ್ ಕ್ಲೋಸ್ಡ್ ಬ್ರಾಕೆಟ್ ಬರೆದಾಗ ಕ್ಲೋಸ್ಡ್ ಇಂಟರ್ವಲ್ ಅಂತ in that one end points are included. In open interval, so if it is a open interval end points are not included. Open brackets ಬರೆದಾಗ ಇಲ್ಲಿ 0 include ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ, therefore it is not a choice. Answer for this question is going to be option D is going to be the right choice. ನೋಡಿ ಈಗ question number 9 ನೋಡಿ ಏನ್ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದೆ? domain of the function f given by f of x is equal to x square plus 2x plus 1 divided by x squared minus x minus 6. So here f of x exists for all real values of x if ನೋಡಿ denominator 0 ಆಗಬಾರದು. That means x squared minus x is not equal to 0. ಇದನ್ನ ಸಿಂಪ್ಲಿಫೈ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡಾಗ x squared minus 3x plus 2x minus 6 should not be equal to 0. So if you factorize this, x minus 3 into x plus 2 you are going to get, it should not be equal to 0. So x should not be equal to 3 and x should not be equal to minus 3. That means from the set of real numbers domain you are supposed to remove the elements 3 and minus 2 from this. So minus 2 and 3 are real number set ಇಂದ ನೀವು ತೆಗಿಬೇಕು ಹೊರಗಡೆಗೆ, ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ? So here ನೋಡಿ ಈಗ minus 2 and 3 if you remove from set of real numbers, r is equal to a domain is going to be a set of real numbers except minus 2 and 3. ಯಾವ್ದಿದೆ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಉತ್ತರ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, r minus of set containing minus 3 minus 2. ನೋಡಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ so 3 minus 2 ಇದು ಇಂಟರ್ವಲ್, ಇದು ಸೆಟ್. there should be a difference between the interval and set. ಸೊ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಎರಡೇ ಎಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಮಾತ್ರ ಇನ್ಕ್ಲೂಡ್ ಆಗಿದೆ, ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ಫೈನೈಟ್ ನಂಬರ್ ಆಫ್ ಎಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಯು ಶುಡ್ ನಾಟ್ choose this as the answer, right? This is also an interval, this is not a choice. So this is not a choice. Option A is going to be the right answer for this question, right? I hope you might have understood all these things. So I'll give you 1 minute, ನಿಮಗೆ ಟೈಮ್ ಕೊಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಏನಾದರೂ ಡೌಟ್ಸ್ ಇದೆಯಾ? Anybody want to interact, ask anything? Any doubts? Anybody? You can raise your hand and talk to me. ಏನಾದರೂ ನೀವು ಕೇಳೋದಿದ್ರೆ you can so raise your hands now. This is the time for you to clarify any sort of your doubts. Yeah, tell me. The boy I have given you, I think he has entered with your name. Tell me. Suchitra M. Suchitra.
Question number 2. Once again repeat, sir. Next Anjum.
Hello, sir.
Anjuma Nadaf, tell me.
Sir.
Yes, what doubt on here?
7th one, sir.
ಆಮೇಲೆ right. So I will go back to 7th question. ನೋಡಪ್ಪ ಇಲ್ಲಿ 7th question ಏನಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಡೊಮೈನ್ ಆಫ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಡೊಮೈನ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಫಂಕ್ಷನ್ ಎಫ್ ಆಫ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ದ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ ಫಾರ್ ವಿಚ್ ದಿಸ್ ಫಂಕ್ಷನ್ ಎಕ್ಸಿಸ್ಟ್. ವಾಟ್ ಆರ್ ದ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ ಫಾರ್ ವಿಚ್ ದಿಸ್ ಫಂಕ್ಷನ್ ಎಕ್ಸಿಸ್ಟ್ ಅಂತ. ಇದು ಎಕ್ಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಈಕ್ವಲ್ ಟು 4 ಹಾಕಿದ್ರೆ ಡಿನಾಮಿನೇಟರ್ 0 ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ನಾಟ್ ಎಕ್ಸಿಸ್ಟ್. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಸೆಟ್ ಆಫ್ ರಿಯಲ್ ನಂಬರ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ 4 ತೆಗಿಬೇಕು. ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಡೊಮೈನ್. ಸೊ ರಿಯಲ್ ನಂಬರ್ಸ್ -4 ಇರುವಂತದ್ದು ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ಸಿ ಮಾತ್ರ ಇದೆ. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಬಿ ದ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಫಾರ್ ದಿಸ್, ರೈಟ್? ಸೊ ದೆನ್
ಸರ್ ಡೊಮೇನೋ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಸರ್
ಏನಪ್ಪಾ?
ಡೊಮೇನೋ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಸರ್ ಡೊಮೇನೋ
ಡೊಮೈನ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್. ಈಗ ಎಫ್ ಇಸ್ ಎ ಫಂಕ್ಷನ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಎ ಟು ಬಿ ಅಂತ ಅಂದ್ರೆ
ಹಾ ಸರ್
ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಸೆಟ್ ಇರುತ್ತಲ್ಲಪ್ಪ, ಈ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಸೆಟ್ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಆಸ್ ಡೊಮೈನ್. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ? ಈಗ ಎಫ್ ಆಫ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಬರೆದ್ರೆ ಈ ಎಕ್ಸ್ ಯಾವಾಗ್ಲೂ ಡೊಮೈನ್ ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತೇನಮ್ಮ?
ಹಾ ಸರ್
ರೈಟ್. ಮಂಜುಳಾ, ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ಆಸ್ಕಿಂಗ್ ಸಮಥಿಂಗ್. Yeah, I think somebody else asked question number 2 or 1. So I'll go back to that. Question number 2, right? Question number 2.
The time up, sir.
Yeah.
Time up, sir.
Right. So we can so discuss this in the upcoming class. So next bandaga nimge uldirodu enaದ್ರು doubts idre I will get back to that. We'll meet in the next class.